Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Blitz. Presented by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.
Welcome to the Vegas Nation Blitz Playoff Edition. I'm your host, Heidi Fang, and the Raiders are on to Cincinnati to face the Bengals in what will be their first playoff appearance since 2016. The Raiders took over the number 5 seed in the wild card round after defeating the Chargers in overtime, 35-32, in what was another edge-of-your-seat thriller. Now let's get into our top stories brought to you by Capriotti's. There's no better time than game time to score party favorites. Order online to get Capriotti's party trays, box lunches, or large subs for the whole crew.
You know, the fact that we're in the tournament is it's really cool. You know, like I said afterwards, I'm super thankful. I've worked my tail off. I've prayed that I could experience that one day, and I get to. It's cool. And but at the same time, my goal wasn't just to make the playoffs. It was a part of it, but, you always have bigger goals and bigger dreams, and you're always trying to achieve more. So for me, it's exciting, but still trying to keep that laser focus on the job at hand.
And joining me, as always, is our Raiders beat writer, Vinny Bonsignor. Vinny, right there, we just heard from Derek Carr saying that his ultimate goal was not just to make the playoffs. This offense has really been clicking all at the right time. Darren Waller came back, but he wasn't necessarily the main contributor in this one. Who have you seen really step up to the plate to help the Raiders offense get the boost that it's needed?
Yeah, in Darren Waller's, case, there's bound to be some rust after not playing for more than a month. Sunday was a good game for him to shake off some rust, and it started coming together toward the end of the game. So moving forward, he's going to be in a better position to contribute even more. But outside of Darren, Jalen Richard with over 130 yards rushing. Zay Jones continues to be somebody that is building reliability with Derek Carr. Obviously, Hunter Renfrow, Brian Edwards came up with a big catch. So they're getting contributions throughout the lineup. And right now, as they showed, scoring 35 points against the Chargers, granted it was in overtime, they're starting to find a little bit of a rhythm offensively and create some balance. And that hasn't been the case all year. So it was a good sign for them that they were able to on Sunday and maybe take that with them into the postseason.
Speaking of that balance, Josh Jacobs has really brought it in the running game. The last few games, what have you seen that's really been different about Josh Jacobs that's helped to elevate his game and really get this run game going?
A couple of things. They're staying more committed to the run game. They're running the ball more. They're giving him the ball more. He's wanting the ball more and wanting to play that closer role, which he did on Sunday against the Chargers. So I also think the offensive line is getting a little bit of better push up front. Andre James has really come on to be a serviceable to above serviceable NFL center. Their offensive line has had some issues in pass blocking, but when they get after in the run game, especially when the Raiders stay committed to it, it usually pays off at some point in the game, and it certainly did on Sunday against the Chargers. So that combination of Josh Jacobs, I know he's got the rib injury, but the legs are right where they need to be right now. That and an offensive line that's playing a little bit better really has contributed to unleashing this run game.
And the D-line, Vinny, is going to need every ounce of that energy to help permeate through it because they do have one loss here on the defensive tackle spot. Darius Philon has been lost to injury. He suffered from a torn patella tendon in his knee. What does that mean for this team? Even though he was only involved in about 35% of the snaps, what does it mean to the team to have lost Darius Philon?
You got Solomon Thomas, Damian Square. Jonathan Hankins obviously came back from his injury. He played a pretty good game on Sunday. So they've been getting it done on the defensive line throughout the season. Obviously, Quentin Jefferson, we talked about him. One of the things that the Raiders have done really well this year is create depth on the defensive line. Carl Nassib didn't even play on Sunday. They didn't miss a beat, even without him being active. So throughout the year, you mentioned that Darius Philon, didn't get some time there. There was a period of time where he wasn't playing much. Well, Kendall Vickers and Damian Square were playing and producing. So there's a bunch of guys that have some experience now that are on the roster and ready to go on Saturday, even in the absence of Darius Philon, who, as you mentioned, was really coming on and being a consistent player. And that's what the key has always been with Darius Philon. He had flashed here and there plenty of times this season, but doing it play in and play out when he was out there, rep in and rep out. was the kind of the challenge, but he was really landing in a good spot in that regard. So big loss for the Raiders, big loss for Darius Philon, but they've got enough bodies in there to compensate.
Around the League, brought to you by Pirate Plumbing, the masters of disasters.
Hey, it's Adam Hill with a look at your AFC playoff picture. The Tennessee Titans secured the 1 seed. They will sit home and watch the rest of the action this week, letting Derrick Henry get a little bit healthier. Their star running back has been out for a while. They've somehow righted the course, stayed with it, and they earned the number 1 seed without Derrick Henry. Now they get him back and make him that much more dangerous going into the playoffs. So they're the 1 seed with a bye, but they are not the favorites. The Kansas City Chiefs still the favorites on the betting board to win the AFC. And what a break they got from the Raiders kicking that late field goal, because the Chiefs now, instead of playing the Chargers and their dangerous offense, will take on the Pittsburgh Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger, who is on a farewell tour. It has been a disaster for him as a quarterback, but somehow, some way, Mike Tomlin finds a way into the playoffs. So Chiefs and Steelers, the Chiefs, one of the biggest favorites in wild card history in that game in Kansas City. We all know about the Raiders and the Bengals. We'll talk about that game later in the week. But the Bills and Patriots, a showdown from the AFC East. They've played twice this year. Those games went very differently. The first game, the Patriots find a way to win in that blizzard game, only threw the ball 3 times the entire game, find a way to come out victorious in that road game against Buffalo. Buffalo returned the favor up in New England. Pretty crazy game, back and forth, a lot of scoring late in the game. The Patriots had a wide open pick 6 against Josh Allen. They dropped it, didn't get that touchdown, and the Bills go down and score, put the game away. So a lot of drama, a lot of intrigue between those two teams from the AFC East. Played twice already, 2 very different games. We'll see how it plays out here in the playoffs. And what a wild ride it's going to be for the next couple of weeks in the AFC.
Vegas Nation Injury Brief, sponsored by Knockvie Injury Law.
Sam Gordon checking back in for this week's Injury Brief, playoff edition. Pretty good news for the Raiders after their victory over the Chargers on Sunday. Jonathan Hankins did not participate in a walkthrough, still dealing with a back and knee injury, but pretty much everybody else was available. Casey Hayward and Josh Jacobs both limited with ankle and rib injuries respectively. Darren Waller limited with that knee, but everybody else, for the most part, a full go. But everybody else, pretty much a full go. Crucial that the Raiders are at maximum health, facing a Cincinnati offense that is loaded, rife with talent on the perimeter, and one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL in Joe Burrow and a 1,000-yard back in Joe Mixon. Make sure to go on VegasNation.com to check in with all injury updates throughout the course of the week as we get closer to the Raiders' first playoff game since the 2016 season. I'm Sam Gordon. This is this week's Injury Brief.
DNR House of Diamonds is Las Vegas's elite private office jeweler, the perfect bridge between internet pricing and a traditional brick-and-mortar jewelry store. We specialize in loose diamonds, natural and lab-grown, engagement rings, fashion jewelry, custom design, and jewelry repairs. We operate by appointment in our beautiful offices in the One Summerlin building, downtown Summerlin. Our great relationships with the world's largest diamond wholesalers and our low overhead saves you hundreds, if not thousands, on your purchase.
Vegas Nation, the road ahead, sponsored by your Southern Nevada Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
It's Heidi Fang back with you here, and I'm joined now by our Review Journal sports columnist, Ed Graney. Ed, we've got to talk here about the stellar season that Maxx Crosby has had. He's really elevated his game to the next level, but what is it that you think that he has done differently to get his game to where it is now?
Heidi, I don't know if it's differently, but we go back all the way to when John Gruden was a coach. What did he tell you and I and the rest of the media? First one in, last one out. Maxx Crosby has this insatiable work ethic that he's shown this year, and that's why he's a Pro Bowler. That's why against the Chargers he was almost unstoppable. What a great game he had in the most pivotal moment of the Raiders since they've been in Las Vegas. I just really think it comes down to work ethic. I think he wants to be the best. I know, he probably knows who the best Russians are in the NFL. He probably compares himself to them. And again, his work ethic's amazing. I remember when Gruden told us when he drove in, he saw Max's Porsche. When he drove out, he saw Max's Porsche. He was always there, and that's how you become great.
And his teammates, Ed, they nominated him for the Commitment to Excellence Award, which he received this week, as well as the Craig Long Award from media. What do those awards mean? And Pro Bowler Maxx Crosby, I mean, just what can you say about all of these different accomplishments that he's earned and those awards?
Well, we'd like to think the media award's the most important to him. I'm going to guess it's not. It's probably one, look, we like talking to Max. He's very open. He's very honest. He's very, blunt about a lot of things. And for what you and I do, that's really good for us. But I'm sure and certain that award from his teammates means the world to him, because how do you want to be respected? You want to be respected in the locker room. You want to be respected by your peers. So when they vote him the hardest worker, it goes back to, again, first one in, last one out. They see it. They see it like the coaches see it. I think that probably means more to him than anything. Would like it to be the media award, but you know what? I'm guessing we're second fiddle to the one where his peers voted him the hardest worker.
He's constantly pushing and moving. What do you think that does, not just for Max to get these openings on the field, but for the other defensive linemen to be able to find opportunities, because everyone's focused so much on Max?
When he gets that push, when he gets that consistent rush, it's going to help everyone up and down the line. When they have to worry about Maxx Crosby, when they have to have one, maybe double team him, other guys have opportunities to get to the quarterback. So as good as he's been this year, I think you look at other people on the line, and they've had good years too, and they will probably tell you that they would point back to Maxx Crosby and the seasons he's had. So the more push he gets, the more aggressive he is, the more guys on his team smile, because they're getting probably opportunities that they wouldn't have if Max wasn't on the other side.
That'll do it for the Vegas Nation Blitz. Check out all of our work up at vegasnation.com to keep up to date with everything happening with the Raiders leading up to the playoff game taking place Saturday with kickoff 4:30 p.m. on the East Coast, 1:30 p.m. locally, and that'll be against the number 4 seed Cincinnati Bengals. We'll have you covered with Vegas Nation Game Day, that episode taking place 7:30 p.m. here at vegasnation.com. For all of our Vegas Nation crew, I'm Heidi Fang. Thank you so much for watching.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Blitz. Presented by DNR House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.